You ever hear about a girl who's so beautiful, so charming, that men just fall for her instantly? But here's the thing, she doesn't love them. She doesn't eat. She doesn't drink. She doesn't even look in the mirror. And every man that falls deeply in love with her, when they make love with her, they fall asleep and never wake up. She takes their soul, and she's still out there moving from city to city, doing the same thing over and over. This is the story of that girl. Her name was Liora, and what you're about to hear, it's the truth about the girl who stole hearts. And so Liora walked through the city at night, her smile soft, her eyes sparkling, her voice like honey. No one knew she was a ghost. No one knew her secret. She had a way of noticing men who thought they were confident, men who liked to flirt. If they came up to her, tried to talk to her, or asked her out, she would say yes. She was always nice, always charming, always giving. Gifts, compliments, attention. She made them feel special, like they were the only ones in the world. But it wasn't love. Not yet. It was a trap. See, Liora didn't eat, didn't drink. No one ever saw her eat. No one ever saw her drink. She didn't use mirrors because she couldn't see herself in one. When a man fell in love with her, he didn't notice these things. No one ever questioned it. She let them fall. And when they loved her enough to trust her completely, she would make them sleep with her. And then they never woke up. Their soul would leave their body, and Liora would take it. Every man, every single one. Afterward, she disappeared. New city, new face. Same story, but then she met Daniel, a 23-year-old boy focused on building his career. His father had died when he was 9. His mother prayed every day, taking care of him and raising him right. Daniel wasn't like the others. He didn't flirt. He didn't notice her at first. He was too busy with work, too responsible, too grounded. And for the first time, Liora's usual tricks didn't work. She tried everything to get Daniel's attention, appearing in cafes he went to, smiling at him across the street, small gifts, little notes. Months passed and nothing. He didn't fall. He didn't even notice her in the way the other men had thought, so she decided to make a plan. One morning, while Daniel was driving, she created an accident. Just enough for him to swerve and get into danger, but not enough to kill him. And then she appeared, the first face he saw when he panicked. She comforted him, held his hand, and called for help. Ambulance, hospital, bills paid, everything done by her. From that moment, Daniel saw her as kind, generous, someone with a good heart. And that's when she knew. The plan worked. Daniel asked her out, and she accepted. They went to a small restaurant. He ordered food and drinks. She said she wasn't hungry. When he asked why, she said she had eaten earlier. He didn't question it. They talked, laughed, shared stories. It was simple, normal, human. And for the first time, Liora felt something she hadn't felt in centuries. Something like love. She tried to lead him home that night, to take him as she did with all the others. But he refused, said he had to go home to his mother. She had never failed before, and she felt something new, frustration, anger, but also longing. She wanted him, but she also didn't want to hurt him. A few days later, Daniel asked her out again. Liora agreed. They went to a park near the river. The city lights reflected on the water. Everything felt quiet, almost magical. She laughed at his jokes, touched his hand lightly, listened to every word he said. He talked about his dreams, his struggles, his father who had died years ago. She never interrupted, never judged, just listened. Normally, she would have made him fall in love completely by now, but Daniel, he was different. He was resistant, and that made her feel something strange, admiration, not hunger, not desire to take his soul, just fascination. Liora tried some of her usual tricks, small gifts, thoughtful notes, gestures to make him feel special. But something was changing. Every time she tried to manipulate him, she felt a pang in her chest. She realized she didn't want to hurt him. Not anymore. She was falling in love. Real love. And that terrified her. Because love was dangerous for her. Love made her vulnerable. Love made her want to keep him alive when her nature wanted him dead. They spent long evenings talking, sometimes on the phone, sometimes in quiet cafes. She let him see her soft side, the side that smiled, laughed, and cared. At night, when she was alone, she felt the hunger. The darkness inside her whispered, "Take him, just like the others. He is yours if you want him. Take him now." But she couldn't. Every time she imagined doing it, she felt real fear. Fear of losing him. Fear of losing herself. One evening, under the moonlight, Daniel leaned in. Their lips met. Soft at first, then stronger, warmer. Liora felt something she hadn't felt in centuries. Life, warmth, love. Normally, she would have taken him that night, like she did with every other man she seduced. But this time, she pulled back. She couldn't. For the first time, she wanted someone alive. Not their soul, not their death, just them. But danger was never far. Daniel's mother had started noticing things. Liora never ate, never drank, never looked in a mirror. Small things that didn't make sense to a normal person, but a mother. She noticed. She didn't confront Liora yet, but the tension hung in the air. Liora felt it. The walls were closing in, but she didn't care. She just wanted to protect Daniel and keep him alive. One night, Daniel invited Liora over. It was late, the air was cold, the city quiet. They watched a movie, but honestly, neither of them cared about the screen. They were too busy staring at each other. The tension grew. She leaned closer. His hands brushed her cheek. Then their lips met again, deeper, slower this time. And before she knew it, they were lost in the moment. That's when it happened. Her eyes darkened, her breath got heavier, and she felt the hunger crawling up her throat, the hunger to take his soul. It was almost automatic. That's what she did. Every man she ever loved died this way, peacefully in her arms, his soul fading as she fed. But then Daniel whispered, "I love you," and she froze. Those 3 words cut through the darkness inside her like light breaking through a storm. She pulled away, shaking, terrified of herself. Daniel thought she was scared or shy, but she wasn't. She was fighting her own curse. She ran into the bathroom, slammed the door, and looked into the mirror, except there was no reflection, just emptiness. And she whispered to herself, "Don't do it. Don't hurt him. Not this one." A few days later, Daniel's mom showed up at his apartment unexpectedly. She found Liora sitting on the couch, calm and polite, but something about her presence sent chills down her spine. The mom noticed the same thing again. No reflection in the glass cabinet, cold skin, strange perfume that seemed ancient. She didn't say anything, but that night she told Daniel, "Son, I don't know what it is about that girl, but something's not right. She's beautiful, yes, but she's not normal." Daniel laughed it off, thinking his mom was just being protective. He didn't know she was right. Meanwhile, Leora's past was catching up to her. The spirits of the men she'd taken before began haunting her dreams, their faces, their whispers, their screams. They reminded her who she was, a thief of souls. But this time she fought back. She screamed into the night, "Not him. I'm done taking souls," the spirits warned her. "You can't stop. The moment he gives himself to you, his soul is ours." And that was her curse. Every time she fell in love, death followed. The next evening, Daniel showed up at her apartment with flowers. He told her he wanted her to meet his mom again, properly. Maybe dinner, something nice. Liora hesitated. Every part of her wanted to say no, to disappear, to save him. But she couldn't resist the way he looked at her, like she was the only woman in the world. She said yes, and right there, a tear rolled down her cheek, because deep down she knew the closer she got to him, the closer she brought him to death. That night, as she fell asleep next to him, Daniel whispered, "I've never felt this happy before." She smiled softly and kissed his forehead, but when he drifted off to sleep, her eyes opened. Dark veins spread across her face. Her lips turned pale, and for a moment her body trembled like she was fighting something inside her. She placed her hand over his chest, feeling his heartbeat. Then whispered, "Please, don't make me take you." And with that, a single tear fell from her eye, black as ink. Daniel was so excited. He kept smiling as he fixed his tie. "Mom's gonna love you this time. You'll see," he said. Liora forced a smile, but her hands were shaking. She could already feel the spirits around her, whispering, warning her, "Don't go." At the dinner table, Daniel's mom was friendly at first, trying to keep things light. But halfway through the meal, she noticed something. Leora's glass of wine hadn't moved, not even a sip, and when Daniel leaned close to kiss her cheek, his cross necklace brushed her skin, and she flinched like it burned. That's when the mom looked straight at her and said, "What are you?" The room went silent. Leora's eyes darkened for just a second, just one. But it was enough. Daniel stood up, confused. "Mom, stop. You're embarrassing me." But his mom didn't stop. "I can't see her reflection in the mirror behind you, Daniel. Look." Daniel turned, and for the first time, he saw it. The mirror showed him and his mom, but not Liora, just an empty chair where she sat. Liora couldn't hide anymore. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She stood up and whispered, "I didn't want you to find out like this." Daniel backed away, shaking his head. What are you talking about?" "I'm not alive, Daniel." Her voice broke. "I died a long time ago." She told him everything, how she had once been human, deeply in love, betrayed and cursed, how her soul was bound to wander the earth, feeding on love to survive. Every man she loved died after making love to her. Their souls kept her alive. Daniel's hands trembled. "So all those men who..." She nodded. "Yes, they never woke up. Because when they give me their love, I take their life." Daniel stepped back, his world crashing down. but she reached for his hand, crying, "You were different." I tried to stop it. I swear I did. Daniel didn't run. He didn't yell. He just stared at her with heartbreak in his eyes. Then he whispered, "I don't care what you are. I love you." And for the first time, she broke completely. No one had ever said that to her and meant it. She fell into his arms, crying like she hadn't cried in decades. But deep inside, the curse was already waking up. The spirits were coming for his soul. The lights flickered, the air turned cold, and a low whisper filled the room. "He's ours now." Liora screamed, "No, take me instead." The world around them began to shake. Windows cracked. The room filled with wind and whispers. Daniel collapsed to the ground, clutching his chest, his soul being pulled away. Liora knelt beside him, holding his face in her hands. "I won't let you die for me." The spirits surrounded her, hissing, demanding payment. So she made her final choice. She looked into Daniel's eyes, kissed him one last time, and whispered, "I love you, and I'm sorry." Then she did what she had never done before. She gave her soul back. A blinding light filled the room, and everything went silent. Daniel woke up on the floor. The room was quiet. The candles burned out, the air heavy. He called out, "Liora?" But she was gone. No trace, no voice, no warmth, just a faint smell of her perfume and one black tear stain on the floor. He ran outside, calling her name into the empty street. Nothing, just the wind. Weeks later, Daniel went back to the park bench where they first met. He sat there for hours, holding the mirror pendant she had once given him. When he looked into it, for a second, he saw her reflection smiling softly behind him. Then it faded, and he heard her whisper, "Thank you for loving me, enough to free me." A tear rolled down his cheek. He smiled faintly and whispered back, "Goodbye, Liora. Love doesn't always save you. Sometimes it sets you free."